Awesome. Thank you for that. All right, guys. So what we are going to be covering in this session is basically all things product research. If you've already attended one of these weekly training, that's awesome. You're going to understand the format. We're going to be looking at the product that we've already found that kind of checks all the right boxes. And then we're going to be using the important tools to validate and then improve upon that product. So we're going to be looking at the Chrome extension, Niche Rater tool. We're going to be looking at Sales Spy, Love, Hate, Keywords on Fire. And then also we're going to be showing off some new features that were just released, and then let you guys know about some other stuff that's on the way, just because you're here and exclusively attending the webinar. And then also we'll get to the Q&A at the end. So we've got about an hour. We're going to try to take advantage of the full hour. If anybody needs to drop off, don't worry. We have all of your emails. We're going to be sending a replay to everybody that's attending as well. So let's begin. It's about 3:02 sunny Los Angeles here in the afternoon. Josh, all the way from across the world. It's pretty awesome to have him here. Why don't you guys let us know where you're from? We probably have people from all over the world. I see Andrew's from Tasmania.
Yeah.
Tassie, that's awesome.
Perth. Tony from the UK. We got from New Zealand there. A few people from New Zealand, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Vegas. I like that. Melbourne, lots of Aussies. I like it.
Do we have any? Yeah, exactly. New Zealand. Do we have any non-Aussies? Northern Canada, Thailand.
Nice. All right.
Awesome. Cool. Well, good to have everybody. All right, let's dive in. So, can everybody just actually let me know really quick in the chat as well? Where are you at with your Amazon journey so far? Are you starting off just right at the very beginning? I want to get a gauge for how quickly we should move through the material and get right into the fun stuff. So just starting off.
Yeah. I'm excited, guys. There's some cool features that only ZonGuru have, especially using our Keywords on Fire tool, which is only usually for creating your listing, but we found a really cool way you can use it to actually find products. So stick around to the end and we'll show you how to do that. I think it's quite good.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw there was a Jenny in the chat who's already got 5 products, 5 listings. That's awesome.
Wow, yeah.
1 product live, just starting module 2. Okay, awesome, guys. So we're kind of all across the board. We're going to try to cover as much material as possible. And again, there's going to be a replay. So if you have any questions, you can always go back. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. We'll dive right into the action. Let us know in the chat really quick. Can everybody see my screen all right?
Yes. Yeah, looks like it.
Awesome. All right, so we've got kind of a funny product here this week. It is actually this interesting toy. These are kids' doctor kits. They're a toy that Josh actually discovered. Sorry guys, my computer always struggles a little bit when we have these live webinars. There's a bunch of attendees. All right, so we're going to be kind of identifying whether or not this kids doctor kit is worth selling, and if it is, what are some things that we could do to improve upon it, make it better, and then also finally we're going to be looking at the keywords and how to optimize. How to optimize a listing if we were going to sell a similar product. And then finally, we're going to see if maybe there's some nuggets in the Keywords on Fire results that can kind of steer us towards another product as well. So we've had a brief look at this, but you guys are looking at it kind of with fresh eyes, just like we are. So we're gonna just dive in now. Okay, so what you guys may have noticed, and I'm sure some of the people who are already a little bit further along understand that this is the ZonGuru Chrome extension that I have pulled up here. What this cool tool does is it allows us to scan all of the listings on this page and pull out basically all of the important information so we can validate whether or not this is a good product. I'm just gonna run through really quickly the niche score because this is probably one of the first things your eyes gravitate towards. This is an aggregate of the 4 important key components of a product category. And then it's built into a single score. So I'll get into what a good score is, but let's break down the 4 key components. Now, the first one is buyer demand. Buyer demand just basically means how often are people purchasing this product? There obviously needs to be demand for the product for you to want to be able to sell it. if only 100 people are buying the product a month, that's probably not a good product opportunity. So people need to be buying the product, obviously. 68% buyer demand, not too shabby. Competition opportunity is a way that we gauge how well established the sellers are in the space, but also how well optimized those sellers are. So we take a look at a bunch of different metrics. We take a look at the number of reviews and then the average review score that gets built into the competition opportunity. And of course that basically means, how long has the seller been selling? And then also, how happy are the customers with their buying experience with that product? So a lot of reviews and a high review score is going to contribute to lower competition opportunity. But then we also take into account a bunch of other key factors that show how well optimized and how experienced the sellers are. So this plays into the listing score, and this also gets brought into the competition opportunity. But the listing score takes into account, do they advertise? Do they have enhanced brand content? How many photos are they taking advantage of? Do they take advantage of a listing video? Are they optimized in their listing copy for the keyword that we use? These are all just some of the things that go into the listing score.
One thing I just want to mention there, a question we get all the time is, with the competition opportunity, is a lower percentage, does that mean that there's less competition or more competition? People get a little bit confused there with that number, but pretty much with every part of the niche score, the higher the percentage, the more opportunity there is there for you. So if the competition opportunity is low, like 33%, chances are that this is a pretty competitive niche. A lot of these products are well optimized, and it's a little bit more competitive. If you saw it up at 80%, it might be very poor listings that you could get in easily, but we'll show you ways that you could get into this niche for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. So then the third key metric is the investment sweet spot. So this is the approximate cost to launch. So we're looking at mainly the launch budget, and the launch budget takes into account how much it would cost to stay in stock for at least 3 months, given the average price of the product at a 30% of the average price. Now, why that number is important is because 30% of the average price is the typical cost of goods sold for those products. So we're taking a look at what it would cost to launch and stay in stock for 3 months. Now, 3 months is important, of course, because you want to be able to sell the product at pretty high volume, at the volume that people are selling on page one. But you need to be able to stay in stock for 3 months so you have time to reorder and get more stock back into Amazon in case your product sells really well right away, and you're selling at the sales velocity of those at page one. So the typical launch budget that we're looking for is anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. That is a pretty reasonable and pretty average cost to launch. Not maybe a home run hitter product, like not a product that is where all the sellers are doing $100,000, but kind of that sustainable long-term product that we're looking for. So,
and a better product to start with as well, because it's a big learning experience, especially if your first product. Getting a product live is 10% of the journey. Once you're there, it's there's lots of learning. So starting off with something with a bit of a smaller budget is a smart move.
Absolutely. Cool. And then the last metric here is the revenue potential. So these are basically the dollars that you're going to put in your pocket for every sale. You want to have, you obviously don't want to be selling a product where if you're making a 30% margin and your retail price for the product is $10, that only means you're putting $3 in your pocket for every sale. We're looking for products that are around the $25 to $30 price range, because this means that you're putting, anywhere from $6, $8, $10 into your pocket for every sale, which just means you have to do a little bit less work. You don't have to manage as much, stock. You don't have quite as much of an investment in the very beginning as well. And then also some of those higher price ticket items can lead to, maybe a higher revenue potential, but the investment sweet spot will go down. So all of these things kind of play into the average score of 65%. We get asked all the time, well, what's a good score? What are some scores that, would deem me looking more deeply into a product? 65% is a good score, good bordering on great. The way that I like to break it down is 50% and below, probably not a good option for any number of those reasons. And once you start to get into the 55%, you're looking at a fair to average score. 60% and above, you're looking at good. 65% and above, great. And then 70%, you're looking at something that's probably pretty exceptional. I think the highest score I've seen, I do product research using the Chrome extension all the time, is a 78%. So, ideally in like the perfect category that exists on Amazon, you're looking at 100%, but I've yet to see it. So 65% is really, really solid.
Yeah.
But also,
I just want to jump in there too, is a lot of people do get too focused in on the niche score. So you might see, looking at a product, you get really excited about it, but the niche score is not really good, or you see a product and the niche score is great and you just get too excited and you base all your product research off that. You want to use the niche score more as a quick guide as you're flying through your product research. You go, okay, this has got 65%. That means that it's probably good. Now I'm going to do further product research. Now I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to add it to SalesFi and do my proper research, because you cannot base everything off the niche score. It's just a tool to quickly assess a niche and then go from there.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Because what we're trying to do, guys, is create a business using data-driven decisions. So we're using the data as tools, but there's certainly not a on-off switch for whether or not you should go ahead with the business. These are big decisions that require kind of looking at it from all different angles. So well said. Cool. So I'm just going to run through a few other metrics that we see here. Some of these are pretty obvious. We have the averages for all of the listings that appear on page 1 here. So the search volume, now this is a cool number actually. This is added recently to the Chrome extension. And this is not an estimate. This is direct from Amazon. As a trusted third-party software partner with Amazon, we get access to certain pieces of key data points, and search volume is one of them. So this is the number of times that people typed in our keyword up here in the last month. So we have about 7,500 searches. We have the average sales for the average seller on page 1 is 667, which is pretty significant. Now the price is a little bit lower than what we would maybe necessarily want, but like with all products on Amazon, you actually have a chance to sell an improved product over what's available on Amazon and actually sell at a higher price point. You're not stuck with pricing your product at the average price of the category.
The thing to take into consideration there is it's the average over the whole page. So there's lots of products in here that are around the 25 to 30 mark, and then there's also products that are around $9. So it's going to find the average. So you got to, with that one, actually have a look down the page and see if those products that are selling for $25 and plus are actually making good sales. So yeah, don't get too caught up on that price.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I just did here was I just filtered by price. Just to see what the highest seller looks like, basically. They have like a whole table, chair set up. It looks like a really intensive product. So you can see this seller right here is taking advantage of trying to be the luxury brand in the category at a $60 price point, which is smart in some cases, but it doesn't really pay off for the seller because they have under the average monthly revenue here.
Yeah.
Cool. So then moving along, we have the average number of reviews and then the average rating. So surprisingly, I only say surprisingly because to me, this kind of comes across as a little bit of a cheap product, but customers are enjoying it. The average seller has a 4.5 star rating, so that's pretty impressive. And then the average monthly revenue in this category is just under $13,000 a month, and that's gross revenue. Now, that's a pretty darn good number selling a single kid's toy, where I bet that you can source these entire kits for only a couple bucks, if you find the right supplier.
Yeah.
Anything to add there?
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is the first thing I would ever do when I come to do my product research is check what marketplace I'm looking on and where Amazon thinks I am. So if you're looking on the Amazon.com USA marketplace, you want to come to this top left corner and make sure that your address is set to a US address. So you can just click on that button and change it to whatever marketplace you're in. If you're in the UK, put in a UK address. Otherwise, Amazon's only going to show you the products that they can actually post to that address, and the data that you get through the Chrome extension won't show you the full scope of the niche. So it's one thing to check on. Another cool feature of the Chrome extension is if you look down the bottom right, you get these little yellow plus marks. If you press on one of them, that'll quickly add that product into Sales Spy, which is the next tool that we'll show you.
Yeah, awesome. Quickly, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, very quickly. I just want to pause. We just covered a lot of material. How are we doing? Are we sounding okay? Is everything making sense? Just let me know in the chat really quick. Just give me a thumbs up. Yes. Oh, perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
All good.
I'm halfway through the live. Yeah. Good.
Perfect. Cool, guys. So I'm going to hand it over to Josh now. He's going to take you through the next tool, which is Sales Spy. Now, why is Sales Spy so cool?
All right. So Sales Spy, the Chrome extension is good for that first initial look at a niche and then look at products, but to get the really most accurate data and a good picture across the whole board of a product, you want to be using Sales Spy. So once you've added a product to Sales Spy, you can easily add a product by, let's just hide that. You can easily add a product by putting in the ASIN here and clicking add, or you can, just by that, or by the plus symbol that I showed you on the Chrome extension. Once you get into Sales Spy, one thing to take note of is you probably want to have your settings set to over the last 1 year. You can do custom ranges, but 1 year is the best to see how a product sells well over all seasons. So I think, which one do we want to have a look at?
Why don't we look at, I think it was this third one here with the most reviews.
Okay, so it quickly shows you the average price over that year. So this number might not be the exact number that you see when you're looking at the listing, but it's taking into consideration all the price changes over that year, and it's giving you the average. It also shows you the average sales and profit. Sales, revenue, and profit underneath in grey. The reviews, and then if you come over to this little button that's a graph, this is the most important part about the Sales Spy. You click on this, and it'll quickly show you a graph. This might not be the one.
No, this is cool. This is actually a good one. So now this is important, guys, because you get a lot of information from looking at these graphs, not only about the seasonality of the product and how the product sells year round, but also potentially where a seller may have made a mistake. So this is really good at when you start to deep dive into who your main competitors are going to be, when you're really seriously considering launching. You add those competitors to Sales Spy and you see, okay, first off, again, does this product sell really well around the holiday season, around Q4 sales? Or is this a seasonal product that sells really well in the summer months or the winter months? But also, has the sellers in this category made any mistakes? And it looks like, for instance, this seller did. This is why we see this big drop off in sales, is because they likely ran out of stock, or they made some sort of a change to their listing that Amazon didn't approve of.
Or they got marked up keywords. Yeah. They could have done anything.
Or they got busted for reviews or something. So this irregular spike. I'm just, in case this is the first time you guys are looking at this, or the orange graphs represent the revenue. Blue is the BSR, which is bestseller rank, and then down here at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see. This gray turquoise color is the number of actual sales. So you can,
No, you're right. It also shows you a good bit of information of like when the product was first put live on Amazon, so you can see how long it takes for a product to get established, if they took off straight away, or if like it took a while for them to get to build into being a proper product on Amazon that's really strong and sustainable. But yeah, so what do we need to go over
we can just look at the other ones as well. We can just pull them out each open. There's one of them. This one, for instance, has pretty consistent sales throughout the year, and I'm actually quite surprised that this isn't more of a seasonal product.
I think around Christmas time it'd be a big gifting for the kids. You'd think you'd have a big spike, but that's why you'd want to use a product like Sales Spy, because by guessing you would have probably restocked way too much inventory for Christmas, and then you're going to have all this inventory left over in Amazon and be getting stuck with like fees for holding the product there. So the best option would be here, like we have done, is add a whole heap of these products. If you're really serious, add like 10 of them to Sales Spy, check them all, and make sure, look for the patterns. Is that just a one-off case where it's not spiking, or is it spiking over Christmas for other ones? So you're just getting a good idea over the whole niche in general.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And with SalesFi too, guys, you, depending on the plan that you're on, you have access to a certain number of products tracked, and you can see how many you have tracked. You can always, because I see that this is a question that's come up with Stuart already. I want to try to answer the questions at the end, but I'll answer this now because we're on the tool. You can always delete by using this trash icon, and it'll take the product away from your tracking, and you'll get that product back. So if you're approaching your limits, you can always delete products. So let's just take a look really quickly at the other products. So this one, the sales are pretty consistent. They actually did extremely well last year around the Christmas time. They went from selling virtually nothing to generating, well, I mean, they had a $600 day, pretty significant, but they've been just, you know, kind of plugging along ever since then.
Yeah, it's looked like they just got in there for Christmas time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one, yeah, this is also pretty consistent sales. I would imagine that it looks like they're kind of picking up their consistency. You can see that the swings in the BSR is becoming less and less. I'm going to go ahead and gander to that this seller is going to do really well.
Yeah, they're picking up more reviews. That's getting more established. People are really appreciating the product, and the algorithm's picking that up too. So it's getting shown more. So that's probably why it's slow increase.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, so now we have covered the niche rater, which validates the kind of whole niche and product opportunity and the category as a whole. And now we've seen that SalesFi kind of gets into the minutia of the, you know, how the individual sellers sell over time, understanding seasonality of products. I want to touch on a point that, you know, might be actually a little bit more nuanced for some of the newbies, and that is product differentiation. We're going to be using the love-hate tool in a second to generate ideas around product differentiation. Verdon, go ahead and ask that question in the chat. We'll make sure to get to it at the end.
Put it in the Q&A.
Or yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Q&A. Cool. So product differentiation is how you answer the question, why would a customer buy my product over the competition? Exactly. As you're scrolling through these listings, what would make somebody stop in their tracks and want to click on the listing? Because these all look quite, to me at least, they look very similar. They're plastic, bright, kind of using the same colors. You know, they're basically also just trying to throw as much on the page as possible. Yeah. So if I was looking at ways to answer the differentiation question, I think to myself, okay, how can I stand out? We see some of these sellers are, you know, adding in like their target demographic, like a child. Maybe they've added a costume as a part of the set as well. They all have these bags, obviously, to keep the toys organized. If I was a parent, that would be one of the most important things to me. Was like, okay, these things need to be able to fit into a thing that I can consolidate it all into. Otherwise, these toys are going to be lying around all over my house. Just
put in the chat what you think you could do here to actually differentiate your product. Me personally, I think the price range is around that $25 mark, and how can we make it a little bit more expensive, a bit more of the premium product, and you want to, so you can actually get a bit more of the profit. And I don't see any in here that are actually using, say, a toy doll or something like that. So the kids might actually want to do the doctor on a doll. They might want to do it on like a pet animal, like a stuffed toy of some sort. So you might be getting like more the veterinary style, which might be a different niche, but
and a different set of tools potentially.
Yeah. So come up with as many different ideas. Use places like Pinterest, things like that. Type it in there. Just use Google and really have a good think about like what you could add to add value. Don't copy. Don't copy to the T, because that is what I've had a couple of products where I just didn't differentiate enough, and eventually you just get wiped out. So you have to be very differentiated.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's, we're opening it up to the chat really quick. If anybody has some ideas for differentiation, we'd
down a doll, Stuart. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. And just to answer your question, Catherine, yeah, we will be sending everybody a recording of this afterwards. It takes about an hour or two, but we'll send a recording. We want everybody to stay though until the end, if possible. You know, so you know, the recordings are fine, but yeah, definitely stay for the Q&A section. Okay, so Anthony says there's one with a large teddy bear. Yep.
Dr. Lab coat for dress ups. Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, guys. Well, I want to get maybe 2 or 3 more ideas for differentiation before we look at the love-hate tool.
It is a difficult one, but yeah, I think we could figure out something more.
So one thing that comes to my mind, and really the only product on this page that jumped out at me was, again, I've already said it, but just kind of the cheap plastic of all of these toys and how they all kind of look similar. Some are too cluttered and busy.
Oh, the red and
yes, exactly. Like, yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you. This one to me, it almost looks like like Wes Anderson, the director, like designed this. This looks really, it just looks cooler than the rest of them. It looks like a kind of a retro luggage container, and the toys are wood. They don't need to look too realistic. These are obviously, it's a kid's toy at the end of the day, and kids are going to use their imagination. So
yeah, and I can see in the chat, let's be eco-friendly, get rid of the amount of plastic, use products like wood, things like that. Very clever.
Absolutely, guys.
And there's not many people taking advantage of that.
Yeah, perfect.
Toy ambulance truck.
Yeah, cool. Animal toy that can be opened up with Velcro.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. These are all great ideas, guys. Perfect. Thank you for contributing. We really appreciate that. Okay, cool. So let's go over to love hate and see if we can generate a couple more ideas around differentiating this product. So again, if this is the first time you guys are seeing this tool, this is basically what it does at a very high level is you add a ton of products, and you can do that by adding the products by phrase. So what I mean by this is if we use our original search term, kids, doctor, kit, what it's going to do is it's going to pull up all of the products on page 1. So the top 50 products on page 1. And then what we can do is we would select all, and we would add the products, and then we would run the session. I want to actually point this out to you guys because I make this mistake almost every week. When you click add products, this doesn't mean that you're done. This doesn't mean that you've now run the session and we're waiting for the love-hate tool to begin to work.
Let's just do another one with a different phrase, just to spell it wrong.
Yeah. Well, we'll carry on. I just want to show this off really quickly. So if I hit create session,
it does work.
Yeah. So it's the status is now created. This doesn't mean that the session is running. You need to click this play icon to actually get the tool to begin to work. And I seriously, each week I forget to do that. But this is just a way for you to queue up sessions, so that when you're ready, you can begin to analyze them. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one. And we'll dive in. But what this tool does, and it's really cool, guys, because what you used to have to do to generate ideas besides just using your own imagination is go into the listings and read the reviews. This is the best way to understand what customers really like and dislike about products. So you go into one of the listings, you filter by the negative 1-star reviews to see what people are saying about the product in a negative light.
And you had to do it by individual ASINs, and it was hours of manual work trying to figure out what they like, what they don't like. And it's very necessary research, because there's so many things in there that you just won't be able to, pick up just off your own thoughts. You need to have a look.
That's absolutely right, guys. So now what we have here is we have 2 separate word clouds. We have one for love and we have one for hate. Now, this just means that for all the 4 and 5-star reviews, we've now created a word cloud with the reoccurring words and phrases that people are leaving in those reviews, because these are important, because it shows trends, it shows patterns in what people are saying about the product. So we'll just go ahead and look. Right now we have all of the products selected. We can tell that here. And we're going to go ahead and not exclude any phrases. For instance, if you wanted to exclude phrases like plastic, just for any reason, really, you could do that here, and you can delete the exclusions. But what I'm going to do here is, it seems like people are saying blood pressure cuff 115 times in the love section. They're also saying it in the hate section, and it might be actually better if we click on this. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to see all of the reviews that have been left that have blood pressure cuff in them. So it looks like here works for just a few beats, literally, and then the blood pressure cuff just barely fits. Kinked and tangled, flattens out, stops working. It's too small. So
it's just a tacky product, which is the idea you get when you look at these products that are all that little plasticky. And this was this is where the wooden or the product differentiation comes into effect. You look at this and then you adjust. So if it's flattening off and it's cheap products, you want to make sure when you talk to your supplier that I really want a good quality product that can't flatten out, can't just break off. Does it need to be a proper tube? Maybe you could just use rope or something like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's a kid's toy. It just needs to be functional and not break easily.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, what do you do with this information? Well, you go to your supplier and you have, a list of your golden example, the perfect product for what you're looking to provide for your customers. And you say things like, I want to make sure that this blood pressure cuff isn't cheaply made. I want to make sure that it works. When you're ordering your samples from your supplier after you have your perfect product, you need to test it, make sure that it's passing the stress test.
Yeah.
And not going to be what's the word that I'm looking for?
It's not just going to break once you get it there.
Yeah, basically.
A good tip there is to, before they even send out the samples, because I know this from previous experiences, they will just send you any sample and it may not be good quality. Is before they send it, just get them to send you a video off their phone. Okay, I'll do like a WhatsApp call, whatever, a WeChat video. Okay, pull on this here, try and bend this, like talk them through stress testing the product in front of you before they send it. So you're not wasting that time of waiting for a product to rock up. Wasting your time more so than theirs. Yeah.
And the supplier, guys, that's going to be, one that you're thinking of a supplier as a long-term business partner. So you want to get these things right in the very beginning, and going through the that method is really smart, because it also allows you to kind of start a conversation and build a relationship with that supplier. And a supplier that is going to be serious, like towards you and your brand, will definitely want to do that. So
if they don't want to do that, it's almost a red flag in a way, because that's not a difficult thing for them to do. And it's just showing that they're not going to put in the effort later down the track. If that's something super easy to do and they're not willing to do it, what's going to happen later down the track? So it's all just testing the relationship there.
Absolutely. Cool. So I had clicked on stuffed animals just because I'm curious to see what people are saying about the stuffed animals.
For adult stuffed animals. Yeah, it looks like people use this product on their stuffed animals. So potentially adding stuffed animals in there could just mean that they wouldn't have to buy extra toys to use it with, something like that. Yeah.
Right. And you wouldn't want to do this in your hero image necessarily, but maybe for like some of the lifestyle photos, you could, because you don't want to include anything in your hero image that doesn't actually come with the product. True. You could have the child like playing with any stuffed animal, and then you don't have to have that added into your cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so we're going to move on in just a second. Two quick features of the love-hate tool that you guys might find interesting is you have the ability to add notes. So, I would say something like here, I need to make sure that the blood pressure cuff works, and, add accessories, whatever it is. And then finally, like Josh had mentioned, you can always do this, and it's always a good practice to see, what's going on Pinterest or Google Images. But you can type in something like kids doctor playset and then click here, and this is going to open exactly what you searched inside of Pinterest instantly. Because what you're going to do is you're going to get a bunch of ideas of products that might not necessarily be sold on Amazon yet, that also look very cool and are so cool and trendy that they're being featured on Pinterest. So just another way to kind of generate and new ideas around the product.
Yeah, and the products that come up on the top of Pinterest and that are the most looked at, searched, most engaged with products, because people are actually liking those images. So that's just I can't even talk. It's just proving again that those are the modifications that people like. So that's the look that people like. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool, guys. So I'm just going to pause really quick. We've been talking for about 35 minutes. Wow. Cool. So can you guys let me know in the chat really quick before we move on, who has used Keywords on Fire yet? I'd just like to know. Let me just scroll down and see. Yep. Yes. Yep. Cool. Are people using Keywords on Fire for their product research?
Yes. Love it.
Love it. Yes. Nope, not yet.
Okay, I have. Cool. Crying baby, great listening. All right, we'll send you the
we'll send you the replay. No, not yet. Okay, cool. So it's looks like it's like a 60-40 split between people that have and have not used it. Before I pass this over to Josh, I just want to let people know, like with all of our tools, for deep dives and tutorial videos, click on the need help and go down to video tutorial. It's going to cover a lot more information than we could possibly cover in this call. But Keywords on Fire is a great tool to generate keywords for your listing, but also Josh is going to show how this can be a cool product for your, or a cool tool for product research as well.
Yeah, so we'll just quickly go over how to use this tool for product research. Like Darren said, use the FAQ there for the deep dives on all the little specifics. But put it simply, to add a session to Keywords on Fire, you'd want to do it by phrase. So you come over to add product by phrase, type in Dr. Kit, click search, and that will run a search very similar to the way that the love-hate tool did. You would just select the products that you don't want to match in, or you do want to go in. You give the session a name and then click run keyword analysis. So this will take a little bit of time, but it will run an analysis on that keyword, and it'll just show you that keyword, the total revenue that keyword brings in, the total search volume, and the amount of unique keywords associated with that keyword. So the next stage that you want to come over to is click on this little eye icon, and that'll open up the session's details. I'll just wait for this, but
yeah, guys. So I just want to pause really quickly because other software tools out there offer keyword tools as well. The difference between Keywords on Fire and the other tools that are out there is because we use the add products by phrase feature, and you have the ability to look at more than one listing at a time. What we're doing is we're taking all of the keywords that these sellers use and perform very well for, and we're deduping across an entire category and identifying only the best and most relevant ones for that product category. This isn't a reverse ASIN tool. It's much more than that. This is a way to really, really dive into the best and most relevant keywords for a product and a product category. So it's really, really cool. And then on top of that, we have access again, guys, to just a ton of data. Being a trusted partner that's real and not an estimate. Cool. So
sure. So I just want to, there's obviously a lot of data here, and it can be a bit overwhelming to look at, but I just want to focus on the main points that you want to take into consideration when you're doing your product research. So first thing I would look at is what are the different keywords here. So these are all the different keywords that people are exactly searching for to find the products. And it'll also show you the revenue that those keywords, the exact revenue that the keywords are generating, and the exact search volume straight from Amazon that keyword is generating per month. So search volume and keywords and revenue generated is very, very important. And also we like to look at the reviews. So we want to know how competitive is this product? Is there lots of reviews? And yeah, can we compete? But the thing I like about Keywords on Fire for product research is the ability to add filters. And what I'm going to do is I actually stuffed up before when I was doing the product research on this product, and I spelt doctor wrong. So I put an ER. We'll just quickly go back and I'll show you what I'm talking about here.
And I just want to maybe rephrase just to make sure it's crystal clear what we're doing here is, just like with the Chrome extension, we're trying to identify high demand but low competition.
Yeah.
And so search volume and dollars generated by keywords represents high demand. Reviews represents high or low competition.
Yeah.
So we're going to use some filters here in a second to kind of weed out everything that goes too strong in one direction.
Yeah. So how would you think of high demand? That means they need to have lots of search volume, lots of revenue generated. So a filter that we'll use is we'll go over to this little field here is where you create your filters, and we'll create a filter for keyword revenue generated greater than or equal to, and we'll do a value of 5,000. So that's $5,000 a month. That's the filter for this. And then the next filter we'll put on, so we want to see how competitive this is. So we'll do a filter on reviews. So when we're reviews, less than or equal to, and we'll just put in, say, 200, because 200, we can always change these filters, but 200, we'll start low, aim high, see if there's anything in the low, and then you can, if there's no results, you can always expand and put more reviews in there, which might add more products. So we'll put in the reviews 200. And now we've got quite a short list of all the keywords that match these filters of they're generating $5,000 a month in revenue, but the reviews, the average review on the page 1 for the top 25 is under 200. So we have a look through here. There's a vet kit for kids, which is interesting because that's something that we were thinking about before with adding stuffed toys. And then something that really pops out to me is kid bath bombs with toys inside. That is a product I never would have thought of.
Yeah, it's not in a million years.
No, never. And it's generating decent search volume, decent revenue. And I would say it's not going to be very competitive because I never would have thought of that product myself. So we'll just you can actually just click on that link and it will open up that page on Amazon. So we come across here and we've found another product that you never would have thought of. It's a crazy looking product.
But it looks way better. Like the branding experience of these looks less cheap, right? It's like more fun.
Yeah. An interesting one with this is it might be difficult because of the competition opportunity because it's so visually differentiated. But we're looking and the reviews are quite low. But because there's so many opportunities here to create a different experience, whether people are using dinosaur eggs, chicken eggs, you could do fruit. You could do fruit, for example. That's just something that comes to my head. You could come up with whatever you're thinking. So we'll just wait for this to come up.
Yeah, and
see the revenue.
Just to reiterate, because I know maybe this is kind of an intermediate to advanced product research method. I just want to just make sure it's crystal clear what we just did. We took all of the keywords associated with a particular toy that we found interesting, and then we filtered, and then we took all of the keywords that are loosely or closely associated with that niche and those products, and then we found, using the filters, an even better category and product. So we're using Keywords on Fire not as an optimization tool, not as a way to write listing copy, but we're finding, we're using it to generate ideas around products that we would have never thought of otherwise. It's really just a way to get kind of that 1,000 foot view all the way down to the 1 foot view, where you might even say something more general than Dr. Kit.
What I would like to do is say for example, your favorite hobby is camping. I just run a Keywords on Fire session on camping, add some filters and see what exactly the filters generate, what keywords are the most searched for that don't have much competition. You might find just camping equipment in there that you never would have thought of, that could be easily you could enter that market, and no other tool is doing this. So you've got that head start where this is a perfect opportunity to be using this tool to find products, because it's only ZonGuru members that have access to this. So you'll be finding niches that other people just cannot find, just because you simply can't think of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we could spend all day analyzing and looking at different products, but I think this is probably a good time to turn it over to in a second to the Q&A. So begin to fire away your questions if anything came up over the last 35-40 minutes. We'll spend the next 15 to 20 minutes or so answering questions. I do want to just talk really quickly about a couple features that were just added. This is specifically, I think it was Jenny said earlier, she has 5 listings, or a couple other people that have active listings right now. Obviously, if you're selling, you understand that your keyword research and packing as many of the best, most relevant keywords into your listing as possible is super important towards your visibility on Amazon. You want to be ranking on page 1 for as many keywords as possible, but especially the keywords that are actually used and searched for by customers. So the Keywords on Fire tool is really that's originally what it was designed to do. So I want to just quickly show you now some updates that we just added last week in our most recent release to Listing Optimizer, just in case you missed it. Now the listing optimizer tool, I know a lot of people are still in the beginning stages, but when you are sourcing a product and you're getting ready to launch, you're going to need to write your listing copy. And to do that, like I said, pack it, write it in a way that connects with your customer and is well written and reads well, but pack it with keywords, relevant keywords. Now, what we can easily do now is add all of these keywords to Listing Optimizer. And then what we can do is, let's just say, we'll pull up one of these kits really quickly. I just want to point out some of these new features. We're going to grab the ASIN and we're going to go pull ASIN. And what this is going to do is it's going to pull in the listing copy in all of these relevant sections. So we have the title, descriptions, bullet points, and then these are the back-end search terms and subject matter. We're about to have another release really soon that's going to make this even better. We're not going to miss anything here, which is really, really cool.
But one thing to remember though is that you just have to add those in manually at the moment. Yeah. If it's your product, you just have to go in and add them manually.
Yeah, so we'll just for the sake of the demonstration, just type in we'll just say Dr. Kid in search terms. So now what we have here, guys, is we have our list of keywords from Keywords on Fire. We have all the listing copy from the listing. Let's just pretend like we sell it. We're gonna click Done Editing. And what it's gonna show us is exactly where we're optimized in our listing for the keywords that we've identified. So this has gotten a huge facelift, and there's a ton of really useful features in here. If you're a seller and you're attending this and you're wanting to learn some more intermediate ways to kind of optimize your listing, but we have the ability to now identify exact and broad match for the keywords in your list and where they appear in your listings. Also, we're showing where they appear in your listing, so we can see for Dr. Kit for kids, this seller is optimizing the description but not the title, bullets, and keywords. This represents the strength of the keyword. So we have some kind of medium strength keywords, some very strong keywords. So the goal would be to try to be optimized for as many of the best keywords as possible.
Strong keywords, yeah, exactly.
And then just really, really high level, this is a really cool feature. I like this a lot. We can actually see, the keyword list that we brought in from Keywords on Fire was generating over $2 million in sales. This seller is optimized for only 640,000 of those dollars that those keywords are generating. So this seller has a lot of work to do to improve their listing copy.
Yeah, so what you do there is you'd want to be playing around with the keywords that are in this left-hand column and adding them into your listing and trying to get that number up as high as you can. So you're taking the biggest slice of the revenue that you can.
Absolutely. Cool, guys. So and if you want to, again, get the full list of features that we just added, there's more on the way here in a couple weeks. We're going to add some updates to Keywords on Fire and Listing Optimizer. You guys are actually the first to know. We have another really cool new tool that's on its way in a couple weeks as well. So guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We'll switch it over to the Q&A and try to fire off as many answers as possible. But let's just go ahead and open it up to the chat really quickly before we go over to the Q&A. How was the session? Do you guys feel like you are a little bit smarter after this? Like you understand our tools a little bit better? Like you're ready to take full advantage? Or
was it things that you think we needed to cover a bit better maybe? Like what are your issues with the product research, and are you happy with this sort of webinar? Would you come and watch it again? Great session, was useful. Awesome. Thanks, Pauline. Appreciate it. Definitely very useful. This is fab. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Makes us feel better too.
Yeah. We know we're on the right track. Because nobody else is talking, sometimes it just feels like I'm talking to myself. All right. Cool, guys. Awesome. And just so you all know, we do this same session every single week at the same exact time. We're going to be adding another session for actual sellers and how to use our additional suite of seller tools. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to send reminders, and we're going to tell you exactly how to register for all these webinars every Monday in app.
Just a second. If you are asking questions, please put them in the Q&A. Otherwise, we will miss them. That's all. So if you're writing a question now, just make sure it goes in the Q&A.
Yeah,
please, guys.
Yeah, and then also I see. some people are saying, can't wait to watch the replay. I just want to point out, guys, that, we'll be sending this replay out, but you can always go to help.zonguru.com, and that's where all of our FAQ articles rest. It's a great place if you have any questions to go there, and if you're you'd like to help yourself. We have 80 to 100 videos at this point answering specific questions. But in the insights section, you're going to see all of our training sessions and then previous weekly training sessions like this one. So we have 5-6 other sessions.
And we've been finding a new product every week. So still one of the products.
Yeah,
for sure. There's some gold in there as well, for sure.
Awesome.
We'll watch again. Perfect. All right, should we head over to Q&A?
Yeah, let's do it. Cool, so let's just start at the very beginning. Up at the top, Stuart has asked, can you point out the ASIN? And this is super easy to find, guys. So all products that are sold on Amazon have an ASIN or an ISBN in some cases. Those are usually for books. But ASINs rest in two places. They either rest in the details. So what I'm doing now is I'm going Command F. This allows me to find a certain text on a page if you don't know.
Or you can just scroll down there.
Or you can scroll down here. So now we're in the product information section. We have the ASIN. This is the unique identifier for this product. And so you can find it there. Also, you can always find it in the URL. That's always where I like to grab it. It's just, this is what an ASIN looks like. I know that that's what it looks like. And so I can identify it in the URL. And then if you double click it, you can just copy it there. So that's how you find ASINs. It is worth noting, guys, some products have what's called a child ASIN against a parent ASIN. Child ASINs are the identifier for an individual variation. Parent ASINs are for the umbrella product, for basically all the products.
Yeah, say you had a pair of socks and it came in 10 different colors, you'd have a parent ASIN for the socks as a whole, and then a child ASIN for each different color.
Yeah. So in some instances, it would make more sense to use the child ASIN. In some instances, it makes sense to use the parent.
Because you might want to track to see which color sells the best, because you might not want to sell all 10 colors.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you explain? Stuart asks, can you explain graph overlays? So that's in the Sales Spy.
Yeah.
So I think
we kind of covered it, but the three metrics are.
So we've got the sales, which is the yellow graph. We've got the BSR, which is the bestseller ranking, which is that blue jagged line. Usually the higher your BSR, the lower your sales are going to be. So you want to have a low BSR. So you want to be that top seller making the highest amount of sales. And there's a white little jagged line along the bottom there, which is just units of sales.
Yeah. So it's revenue, units, BSR.
Yeah.
Sorry about the background noise, guys. Okay.
When you drop into a product, there can be multiple sellers. What does that mean? Okay, so that's where if we go, that just means we'll pop it up just so people can actually see what we're talking about.
And also just because we're reading these, we're answering the question from Verdon. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. What does it mean if a seller has or a product has multiple sellers?
Yeah, so you're talking about in Sales Spy, but where we're going to show you you might need to go to the, where we'll just show you in the Chrome extension. It's the same thing here. If we just look at the sellers along the side here, the amount of sellers there just means how many sellers are selling under that one listing. So Amazon, like if you upload a listing, anyone that's selling the same product can sell underneath your listing. So if Nike has a listing for Nike shoes and there's 10 different retail stores that are selling the exact same Nike shoe, instead of being like eBay and just having every listing look the same for different prices, Amazon just, they have the option just to put them under the same listing, and then whoever has the cheapest price will get that first sale, and then it will move on to the next product. One thing to mention there though is if you have your own listing and you're not brand registered, people can actually try and, this is where hijacking comes in, and you can see that someone is trying to hijack your listing. So if you have a look and it says number 2 next to your product, chances are someone's actually trying to either hijack your listing, or you might not have the field set up to destroy your refunds, and Amazon's actually trying to resell your product. So yeah, I'm going to make an FAQ on how to figure that out a little bit more, like we're showing you here. But Yeah, so you can see on this page, it looks like farmer packs 3 times. So this is a bit of a different one. But if you were looking,
yeah, that's kind of unique actually.
Yeah, if you were looking at a different listing, there might be your brand and then underneath a few different brands. But if you look in the FAQ section soon, I'll have a full video section covering that. It's not something to get too caught up in now.
Yeah, awesome. Good question. Cool. Joanna, I am having trouble with ZonGuru. I've downloaded the Chrome extension, but I can't search anything. Need help. Yeah, this is also a good moment to pause and just let everybody know. We have an amazing support team. Josh and I both answer a lot of support tickets. We have other support team members. If you have very specific questions about your account, make sure to reach out to support because it might take some. We might need to look at each individual case.
Yeah, and we can just do a personalized walkthrough for you. So for your instance, just reach out to support, just mention me, just say, hey Josh, can you help me with this? And I'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, totally. Brian McGinnis, how do I use the tags optional field? So this is just a way for you to kind of keep your products organized. We have the ability to add tags in most of our tools.
That'd be, most.
Yeah. So, for instance, if you're tracking dog beds and yoga mats, and you just want to be able to easily see, all of the dog beds that you're tracking, as you add a product, just type in dog bed, and then you can use the search field. And then when you type in dog bed, it's only going to show the ones that you've tagged as dog beds. It's super easy, and it's
just gets rid of the cluster. So because when you're doing your product research in SalesFire, you should be maxing out that SalesFire. You should be checking as many products as you can, and it can get a bit clustered. So use the tag so that once you've decided that dog beds are what you're searching for, and you don't want to go through and delete everything else, the tag's there. Search the tag, and then they're the only options that you see.
Perfect. Cool. Christine Ryan asks, regarding the number of keywords on fire sessions, the 20 sessions that you get with the starter plan, is that 20 sessions per month or 20 per year? Also, same question for love-hate sessions. Yeah, this is great. Good question. So the number of sessions that you get for certain tools like SalesFire is the number of, at the moment, how many products are you tracking? So like SalesFire, you have a limit of 75 if you're on the starter plan. If you hit that limit, you delete one, you're going to get that product back. And so you can track another product. Love, hate, email automator, and keywords on fire don't work that way because you get a lot of information, really important information from those tools. And so what will happen is instead of being able to delete a session and getting it back instantly, you actually will get that session back 30 days from the day that you've used it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with email automator, but basically if you have 15 keyword on fire sessions and you use 15 of them today, you'll get all 15 back in the following month, 30 days from that day. If you use 14 today, and then you use one tomorrow, you'll get 14 back in 30 days and you'll get the last one back in 30
the day
days.
after. Yeah. So it's a rolling 30 days. It's not per your month of subscription.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Sorry, that was a little bit wordy. Okay, Adam Johnson. People make a lot of typing / spelling mistakes when using search engines. Would it be a good idea to deliberately look at misspelled keywords and the potential that may be there to drive more traffic to a listing through the misspelled keywords?
Yeah, I'll answer that because that's exactly what happened with me today. I just brain fade, misspelled doctor, and I didn't pick up on it because when I looked at the niche score, the Chrome extension for misspelled doctor still had 8,000 search volume per month. So there's 8,000 people like me who can't spell doctor a month. And
you're not alone.
Yeah, so I felt a little bit better, but you're not alone. And yeah, but in seriousness, yes, this is also where the Keywords on Fire tool will help you out, because when you write in Dr. Kit, and you misspelling it comes up 8,000 times, it'll actually show you in the results that Dr. Kit is with the wrong spelling is generating a certain amount of revenue, a certain amount of search volume. So yeah, use spelling mistakes, check them in Keywords on Fire. Just type in the spelling mistakes into the Chrome extension and see if it's selling, see if there's much search volume. And that could potentially be a word, especially for like the Dr. Kits, that you would target, because some of the main higher sellers wouldn't be optimized for that keyword. So it's actually quite a smart advanced tactic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, perfect answer. All right, let's see here. Okay.
Any plan to have a tool where you can do a broad search on all categories using filters, look for good volume, low competition? Yes, we are. That's the one we're bringing out.
Yeah. So Ian, I want to steer clear of like setting any concrete expectations when things aren't like super close to being released. But yeah, we do have a tool that's actually it's moving along really well, and is going to be released, which is exactly what you're looking for, which is just another product research tool, kind of like similar to like a niche hunter tool where you can type in an idea, add a bunch of filters, and then we'll scan all of the listings that we have in our database and show you the best product opportunities based on those filters.
It's almost a keywords on fire for finding products instead of finding keywords, essentially. But
the reason why we haven't released a tool like that yet is I've used plenty of our competitors' products before, and all of our competitors are super talented devs, like great teams. I don't want to speak ill of anybody on those teams, but I do all of our product research. I do product research every day, and I've used those tools to try to generate product ideas. And I just have never found them to be all that useful.
You end up finding just a lot of brand name products that don't need a lot of, say, reviews or anything because they're well established outside of Amazon. So you'll end up finding just like heaps of Nike shoes or lots of clothing or lots of like batteries and products like that just aren't what an FBA, like a private label seller like ourselves would want to use. So they're a bit clunky, and we want to get it right. We want to make sure it's the best product on the market.
Yeah. So it's on the way, and our goal is to make it better than anything else that's out there. But yeah, we are thinking about that. Cool. Brian McGinnis, in Keywords on Fire, what is a reasonable score, the ZG score? Well, ideally 100, but again, Josh spoke about this earlier with the niche score. Use the data as a guide. Don't get too hung up on the ZG score, because the ZG score is a good gauge of how well performing the keyword is, and then also its competitiveness. But for instance, bath bombs for kids with toys inside had a low ZG score.
Yeah.
So
it's a good starting place, but you need to use that human element of looking at it, thinking that's unique, that product, that keyword's unique, looking through and seeing where else they're not well optimized and how can you differentiate. Don't get too caught up on niche scores, ZonGuru scores. They're a good guide, but then just to look into more further. So if it gets a score of 100, they would be the first ones you do look at, but have a deeper dive into them.
Totally. Yeah, thanks for all your questions, Brian. Really appreciate the how interactive you're being. So thank you. Okay, Leanne asks, this might not be in your area. Just wondering how you use your search for keywords that are not super competitive for PPC. For instance, some keywords are so competitive it would cost you a fortune to do PPC for that product, whereas using a longer tail keyword may be more affordable. Absolutely. How do you find these longer tailed keywords, and what parameters do you use to determine if they might be worth using for PPC?
Well, that's actually where you can use the Keywords on Fire tool. So can I just click it?
Share.
So if I share my screen here,
just go share. Yeah.
And share here. All right. So we'll come back to the Keywords on Fire tool.
That's fine.
Okay. And we'll go back into the Dr. Kit. You'll actually see here, once it loads, that there is a column that's estimated PPC bid. So this is the PPC bid that we think you're going to get charged for that keyword. So what you'd want to do is you might even create a filter. So you could create a filter for PPC bids that is less than or equal to, say, you might have to write 0.7. I've never actually done this before. It's actually quite for 0.7, and then this will show you all the different keywords that you don't have to pay more than 70 cents for per click. And then you would just go through and try and find those products that are generating good revenue, have high search volume, but aren't too competitive. So it needs to be lots of buyer demand, but not very competitive, with low reviews and cheap PPC bids. So that's how you do it. The Keywords on Fire tool is perfect for that.
Perfect. Awesome. Good question, Dan. All right, Stuart. It would be great to see a workflow. I'm not totally sure what you mean there, but we do have
a mind map or a flow chart.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So some sort of like a physical PDF or like an infographic. Yeah, we're actually, funny enough, we're working on trying to produce more infographics. We also have really, really great resources. One in particular is a hot product list. We're actually giving it a facelift. We're going to add a bunch of new products. But if you go to, actually, if anybody wants to just go ahead and reach out to support, I can send you to the right link rather than tell you what the URL is off the top of my head. But it basically is going to cover in even greater detail, why Amazon FBA is like such a beast even today. How to sell extremely well, how to differentiate, goes even into greater detail about competition and opportunity, and then it will actually show 20 products that I actually handpicked as the best hot products on Amazon based on all of those factors that we've already been talking about today. But we are going to work on producing even more material as well, Stuart. So
cool, thanks, Stuart. All right, Lee Rushgrove. I'm not clear on quantity of reviews. Is higher or lower better? So higher reviews is better for the seller that has the higher reviews. If you are doing product research, and we just look at my screen here and you can see reviews, this is the average. This means that the average listing in that specific keyword has 339 reviews. You want the competition in your niche to have as little reviews as possible, because the less reviews they have, the more chance you have of competing. So the thing I like to do with the Chrome extension is just go and filter by reviews and try to find niches that don't have lots of reviews. I try and find the ones that maybe have 10 or so products that are 500 and above, and then I'll go down to where the reviews are less than 100, and I'll check the revenue data against those products, because they're the products that you're actually going to be able to compete with from day one. So the less reviews is the better opportunity for you, but more reviews for you means more sales.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yes, Andrew, our tutorials are replayable and they cover a lot more in-depth information about like the finer details of each tool.
With limited reports to save, can I delete and save and make space for a new saved report? Not 100% sure what you're talking about here. Are you talking about sessions?
I think she's probably talking about sessions.
Which we
answered
covered
that
just
question.
before.
Yeah. Cool. We're just probably going to do a couple more, guys. It's already 4:10. We've been at this for a little while. We'll try to answer as many as we can. If we don't answer any, I'll try to reach out and message you guys online with the answer.
Yeah.
Tim asks, sorry, I missed the Q&A a bit. Is there a particular process or efficient way of digesting the Chrome plugin information with the niche ratings to determine if a product is worth investigating? Because we've already kind of answered this at the beginning of the session, I'll just say go back to the beginning when we send the replay out and check it out there, because we do answer it in depth. Also, again,
go into the help.
Yeah, go into help. We answer this question at length in our insights section inside of help.zonguru.com.
Okay, Anthony Penson, the niche rater rainbow doesn't appear in the UK Amazon. Do I need to change anything? No, currently we can only use the niche rater in the .com marketplace, because the niche rater uses the search volume, which Amazon gives us the exact search volume for keywords, and they only give us that data for the .com marketplace. So if we had a niche rater for the UK, for Australia, things like that, it just wouldn't be accurate. So at the moment, .com's all we're working with, but Australia, UK, places like that will be coming in the future. Yeah, and we are working on adding the niche rater to other marketplaces, but also, it is important to remember that, the .com marketplace is where the lion's share of the revenue generated across the, Amazon globally is, that's the best performing marketplace right now. So that's probably the one that you want to pay the closest attention to anyways. Yeah. You want to start killing it in .com, and then once that that product's working and you've got excess units that you can't sell all on Amazon.com, start broadening your horizons and moving out to the different marketplaces.
Yeah, and also the Chrome extension is still available in all marketplaces. You're just going to miss the rainbow and the search volume.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to stop sharing.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Marissa, you can show, so to do a reverse ASIN on your own listing to see what's indexing. So actually, this has been missed. There's a couple things. You can do a reverse ASIN. You just need to add your ASIN manually into Keywords on Fire. But even better is we have a free tool that we just released. Maybe we haven't been doing a good enough job of promoting it. But if I go to ZonGuru.com, we have an ASIN index checker already available. And this is free to use, so you don't even need a ZonGuru account to use this. If you go into our Guru tools, these are the free tools. Sorry guys, my computer is under a lot of stress right now. And then you go to ASIN index check. You'll be able to type in your product ASIN, select a marketplace, and then probably the best bet is if you have a bunch of keywords, pull a CSV report and then copy and paste into this field and click get results, and we'll show you exactly which keywords you're indexed for.
Cool.
Thanks.
Lisa Nozari, I just downloaded the app. Can you navigate like you can on PC, or does it just have some features? No, the mobile app is just for your business dashboard. To run the niche rater, to run all the sales fire, things like that, you'll have to use your web browser.
Yeah, exactly. Separate tool completely. Rob, yes. So we're actually on Friday. Rob asked, are we going to be doing a session on Email Automator? We are doing a brainstorm tomorrow on the content and how we want to organize that, but hopefully, probably not next week, but the week after that, we'll add another training session, which we'll do weekly, which will be devoted to all of the tools that we didn't cover in this video. So it'll be more tailored towards people that are already selling. And Email Automator will be a big part of that. Alex Carter, for the listing strength, what is a good level? What is a goal and what is exceptional? So we have a help article, which answers that at length. For listing strength, anything over 7 is pretty darn good. Anything over 8, 8.5 is exceptional. But check out the help center article, because I break down exactly what goes into listing strength and then what the good scores are.
Cool. All right, we got a silly question here. I get three-quarter times a day notifications asking listing report from ZonGuru.
Yes.
Just reach out to me just through the help chat. So just reach out to support at ZonGuru, and I'll give you a way of fixing this. This is just a setting that you need to change in Amazon, and I'll walk you through it. It'll take 2 minutes.
Cool. Awesome. Marvin asks, cool. Question was answered. Perfect. Cool. Sweet. All right. 2 more guys, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm glad that we actually got to all of them. Alex Carter, what does it take to compete against high review products as a new entrant? Well, this is kind of a nuanced question, but your best bet, and this is something that we talk about all the time, is you're looking to be you're not trying to be a Me Too product. You don't want to do what your competition is already doing. So you want to stand out from your competition. Best way to do that is differentiation. We also want to create an amazing brand experience. So you want to be able to connect with your customers. Not only you're not just providing a product, you're also providing an experience. You're telling a story. Think of the brands that you enjoy purchasing from the most. For me, I think of where, my favorite shopping experiences are like places like Patagonia or, REI even, because they kind of get where my mind is. They, just even in their advertising and their copy, the way that they write things, it connects with me, their photos. You just need to basically, the short answer is you need to do it all. You need to do it all really well.
And you really, really just need to have that super differentiated product, but you also must show that in your hero image. Your hero image is probably one of the most important things on Amazon. If you're in a super competitive niche where the reviews are too high, but you still want to jump in there and have a go, you want to have a look on page 1 and see what the theme is there and break out from that theme. Like, And if you're in reliable, Adam always says be the peacock. So you're going to stand out, have super visually differentiated, and spend the money on great photography and make sure you get the photography right. A good method is to, if you've got photography done, get 4 or 5 images from page 1 of your competitors, get all their hero images, get your image, and then just show it to a few friends. Don't tell them what your product is yours, and say which one's the best and why. And then just because you will have a biased idea of your thinking that your images are the best. So get some feedback from other people. There's also, if you don't have friends that will do this, there's also websites where you can put it up and people will have, they'll input as well on your ideas. So that hero image has got a really, really killer. It's got to pop from page 1 for sure.
Yeah, Anthony says in the chat, the purple cow is great. Yeah, that's exactly basically what we were just talking about there is standing out as a purple cow. And also, just one last little thing I want to add there is your ability to react to how your customers are experiencing your product is super important. So amazing customer service, going above and beyond, answering everybody's questions. Like if you get a negative review, don't lash out and express your frustration with the customer. You want to see what can you do to make them change their mind and potentially even change their review. So the best practice is reach out to them individually and see what you can do to either provide a replacement or refund even, but then also respond to them publicly as well, so that your customers know that if they have a bad experience, that you're going to be there to kind of help them. Those little kind of intangible things will go a long ways towards kind of boosting the speed at which you can find success on Amazon as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Is there a place where you visit to see what webinars are coming up? We will send you an email or a notification every Monday.
Every Monday, yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. That was a long session. Hopefully, I still see that we had 42 people sticking around. I think we started with 60, so it's great that we have people, stick with us. So thank you so much for your attendance, participation.
Yeah, I love the participation, guys. That was great.
Yeah. Next week we'll be coming at you with another cool product.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Spell right.
Yeah. So awesome, guys. Thank you very much, and we will see you hopefully next week. And then if you guys have any other questions, you can always reach out to support@ZonGuru.com, or there's a little chat icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen anytime you're in the app or on one of our web pages. You can reach out to us there. All right, thanks, guys.
Perfect.
We'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.